Is this thing on? I talk into this, right? And then I read what you, yes. Okay, I'm not, this is like, I haven't done this. Yeah, we'll get back in the saddle. It's fine. No, it's good. Yeah, actually, refill my water bottle. Yeah, yes. Welcome into the Club Fox Retrowave Lounge YouTube channel, guys. It's been a while. We've been out. Life has been absolutely insane. No excuses, though. We're back, and we actually have a really cool brand new video idea for you, and hopefully we get to do more of this, so let me know what you think in the comment section. Hit that like button if you enjoy it. Today, we're going through the Season 5 Battle Pass. This is something we do on the live stream. Check out the link in the description below to join us over there on Twitch, twitch.tv/ZTheDesertFox. We stream Monday, Wednesday, Friday at the beginning of every new season since Modern Warfare. We like to spend the first season stream going through the battle pass and checking out all the new things, the new challenges that are available, the new weapons, all the aesthetics, everything that goes into that battle pass. I wanted to share that experience with everyone on the YouTube channel. I thought it would be a really cool video idea. So buckle in, you're gonna enjoy it, and let's get right into it. Now, basically what I did was I made a spreadsheet and scored every single weapon on the battle pass in several categories. Number one, we did the aesthetics category, just the details, the aesthetics, the accoutrements, and everything that goes into the details of the look of the weapon. We'll rate that 1 through 5. Next, we'll do the color palette. We'll rate that 1 through 5. Pretty simple. Do the colors work? Do they not work? Do we like them? Do we not like them? 1 through 5 on that. We'll also rate the attachments that come on every weapon, because a lot of times these variant weapons will have attachments that you just really don't like to use for your playstyle, so you have to replace them. But overall, a lot of these variants actually had some really great attachments that anyone can use in their playstyle and be successful, and they won't hold you back. But we'll rate the attachments 1 through 5 as well. Next two categories will be projected camo synergy and cool factor. These are very, very subjective. However, projected camo synergy, is this variant going to look good with a camo, or is the camo going to cover everything up? Is it going to mesh well, and maybe some parts get the camo, some don't? We don't really know because we haven't unlocked most of these weapons yet, but we're going to do projected camo synergy just to give a guess as to how this would look with a camouflage on it. And of course, the cool factor. You may have a weapon that has terrible attachments. For some reason, when you look at the weapon, it's just cool. You just want to run it. And there's actually a couple here that score very, very high on the cool factor, but then overall the other categories are sort of low. So there you go. And then I will give an overall rating, and that will be 1 through 10. And then I've got some notes made for each one. So having said that, let's actually jump right into our very first weapon. We're going to be doing this live here, so not a whole lot of edits. You're going to see me clicking around a lot and looking at different screens. That's okay. Stick with me. We're going to have some fun here. Now, the very first weapon is called the Great Emperor. This is an FFAR variant, but here you go. We're going to give it a little quick spin around here, take a look at those attachments, and a good look overall at the aesthetics on this. These are excellent attachments, actually, outside of the 44-round Stanek magazine. Probably won't mesh well with camos, but it looks cool enough to run naked, so you're really not going to need a camo here. The details on sort of the Japanese look with the dragon head and all the different special details with the gold and the blue, the color palette looks amazing. The wood attachments, like the handle and on the stock, looks really cool. The blue, gold, and really deep leather/wood look looks really good. Very, very cool Japanese theme on this one in particular. Now, base EM2. Now, we have a couple base weapons, both the EM2 and the TEC-9. Overall, these really aren't going to get high ratings because there's not a lot to see or say on these. It's a base weapon. Visually, it's kind of okay looking from just a weapon design standpoint. The wood furniture is fine. It doesn't look as aggressive or as sleek as some of the other firearms in the game, and you're definitely going to want to get rid of that stock built-in scope sight as well. So there's the EM2. Not a whole lot to say about that one in particular. Next, moving on. Oh my goodness. This is an amazing looking weapon. Let me tell you, this thing is so freaking attractive. Let's get a quick spin around here. The tea time. Love the color palette and the theme. The gold attachments look amazing. This thing is a sexy looking pistol. I'm not a big fan of the Magnum overall, but when I unlock this bad boy, chances are really good I'm actually going to be running this one on the map. Now, some notes here as far as the Tea Time Magnum pistol goes, the aesthetics and details, it's going to be a 5. Color palette, going to be a 5. Attachments, going to be a 2. That drop shot wrap, Stanek 12 rounds magazine, probably not the best fit. Mounted flashlight, that kind of thing with that reveal distance. I'd rather have something that gives me better hip fire or better ADS speed. So attachments are sort of a 2. Projected camo synergy is actually a 0 here. That doesn't give it a poor overall score, because I still scored it overall a 10, but the projected camo synergy, you're not going to run a camo on this thing. Why would you do that? It looks so good without it. And then the cool factor is an absolute 5. So let's pull it back up here and take a look look at it one more time. Tea Time, absolutely amazing. I love anything that's rose or cherry blossom. This thing looks absolutely amazing. Plus the pink and the teal and the white together, sort of that Miami color palette vibe that you know we love. In the Club Fox Retro Wave Lounge, you can actually check that logo in the top right hand of your screen right there, and you can tell we like that color palette around here. So overall, this thing gets an absolute 10 out of 10. Next, we're moving on to the Battle Bronze. This is an XM4 variant and very, very cool. There's a couple things that sort of draw it back a little bit, but overall, the aesthetics and details, that's a 5. Color palette is a 2. It's sort of plain. I do like the wood furniture. That's like the dark mahogany look with the bronze. It's got some of that burnished stuff like you can see on the infantry compensator, that it's a little bit worn in from being fired, which is really, really cool. Those details are awesome. That's why it gets a 5. The attachments, man, not a big fan of the Cobra Red Dot. Actually, no, who are we kidding? I hate the Cobra Red Dot. Projected Camo Synergy, I think this thing would look really, really cool with a camouflage on it. Overall, I am going to give this a score of a 7. The cool factor is a 3. It's sort of plain. It's a good look, but it's not going to be something that makes you go, wow, that's so cool. Over here, just a few slots over, you're going to be looking at the blue Steed Hauer shotgun. Now, here's the thing, Club Fox. I'm not a huge fan of shotguns. I've never been a huge fan of shotguns. I've run them from time to time for different challenges and things like that. There's just something about this weapon here that's just sort of, I don't know, man. There's a couple plain weapons on this battle pass that are actually kind of cool. This one just doesn't do it for me. I don't know what it is, but this weapon is just the plainness, the blue and the black. Could be a cool, like, police force sort of look, but I don't know. Just something weird and plain, but not cool about it. The different categories, we're going to give it a 1 on aesthetics details, 3 on the color palette, 4 on the attachments, because the attachments are actually really good for this weapon, even though you should add some. This would look really great with camos, actually. So, projected camo synergy is actually a 4. The cool factor overall is just sort of a 2, because it's like, I don't know. 5 is our overall. Toad Nugget is actually pretty cool. The Hammer Forged Gold, though, that's really, really cool. But we're actually not going to give it a good score in the projected camo synergy category for this, just because if you put a camo on this thing, it's going to cover that up, and it's just not going to be a good look unless the camo attaches itself to the texture. Then that would be super cool. But we don't know. Again, projected camo synergy. So, aesthetics and details, 3. Fair, but not really anything to stand out. Color palette, 4. Love the blue and the gold look. Absolutely stunning. Attachments, other than the Cobra Red Dot, really, really good for this weapon. Cool factor is a 2. It's sort of like, yeah, it looks cool, but it's not like, oh man, that's such a cool weapon. 6, kind of an overall score there with the 6. Now, moving on, we're going to have the base TEC-9. I actually rated this one super, super high. Let me talk to you about this here at Club Fox. Now, you've got the EM2, which is just a plain weapon, right? And it's not really super amazing looking, but there's just something cool about this TEC-9. Just take a look at it. It's so rugged looking. It's got that wire stock feel. You got the welded points. You can see where things were welded on, like the straps, the strap hooks. It's just something rugged and cool. It's like a street warfare sort of dark, down, dirty, sort of like that, like insurgent sort of look. I don't know. This thing looks really, really cool. Plus the TEC-9. I mean, come on, it's super cool. It's kind of well known in the culture. I think this weapon is going to be a lot of fun to use. If you look at other people that are reviewing the different types of attachments, whether it's semi-auto, full auto, or burst, it may be good, it may be bad, we'll see, but it looks really, really cool. Now, let's move on to our very favorite, well, maybe second favorite. This one is absolutely amazing. We only scored 3 overall 10s on this list for overall score. There's some that scored high in different categories and low, but there's only 3 that scored 10 out of 10. One was Tea Time. If we actually go back and look at Tea Time, you can scroll back, check it out. It's the one, the Magnum pistol. This one right here, Prompts Input, it's an RPD. I'm not a big fan of the RPD, but it is a really nice weapon for like LMG challenges and stuff like that. The aesthetics on this particular weapon look absolutely amazing, and the details, we gave it 5 out of 5 on this one because you've got the retro wave synthwave grid on the receiver right there where the handle and the trigger is. For anyone that doesn't know and isn't an expert of firearms, that's okay, but the receiver is where the trigger and the handle are going to attach to and where the ammunition goes in, right? The barrel looks really cool with like the different like circuitry and stuff like that, but the really cool detail is on the magazine, right? You get the line code on the magazine, which is super, super cool. This one I wanted to like, the flesh tattoo. First of all, I love the QBZ. It is one of my favorite weapons, if not my favorite weapon in the game. But with flesh tattoo, there's just something about it that just doesn't stand out. It got a 3 in both aesthetics and details and color palette, and it gets a 5 for attachments. So that's one thing we want to mention. All these attachments are absolute top-notch attachments for the QBZ and very, very usable. You might want to add a sight depending on how you want to run, but this weapon is attached very, very well. The cool factor is a 3. It's got a decent color palette and kind of cool, but again, nothing super crazy right home about. I gave a 7 overall for this one. Now, moving right along. This one has a bit of a pitfall, unfortunately. Every single one of these attachments is so wrapped into the theme, but a couple of them you might want to change out, so it really sort of depends on what you want to do. However, that task force barrel and mount, the muzzle, the sound suppressor, even though that fits very well with the theme of this weapon, as you can see, it's like completely covered from butt to tip with this theme. You could replace those and it would still look really good because your stock, your magazine, your handle, your receiver, all of that is still going to have that awesome turquoise, teal, black film vibe with like the Tron style, retro style grid. So you could really actually have a pretty cool experience visually with this weapon. So I really like it. The Milano's a lot of fun to run as well. One of my favorite submachine guns to run. So this one could work. It got a 7 overall, but the aesthetics on it got an absolute 5 out of 5. Palette, 5 out of 5. Attachments, I gave it 3. Not really a big fan of the task force barrel. A lot of extra damage, but man, I'm not just trying to work that hard to cover all that recoil. So there you go. Cool factor, it's definitely a 4. Now, moving right along, we're going to move on to the Type 63, which is cool because they called it the Type Rider. This one is super simple, but it just plain works. Now, the camo situation is not going to work at all on this. If you cover up the aesthetics because it's so plain, there's nothing really to sort of attach the camo to as far as like things that stick out or like 3D objects or whatever that are coming off, you know, texture, whatever. You're going to cover up the look and feel of this weapon. So camo, no camo synergy at all, but 5 out of 5 on aesthetics and details because it's so simple and sleek, but it just works. The sparkly reds or the metallic red with the white digital lines and everything going back and forth. The attachments are really, really good. And you might want to add some. So we actually ended up giving this an 8 out of 10 on the overall. We really liked it. Cool factor through the roof. Definitely a 5 out of 5 on the cool factor. Now, moving along, we're going to go to the Death Touch. I don't even know why. This is a 3 overall. This is actually the lowest scoring overall score for the weapons that we're going to be reviewing today. It's just plain black. It basically just replaces the steel and the wood furniture with just black and black polymer. Not really a big fan. I mean, it kind of looks cool all blacked out and may look cool with a camo on it actually, but overall, I'm just not impressed with the EM2. It looks clunky and awkward and weird, and apparently it's a heavy hitter, and it's gonna be really, really dangerous in Warzone. We'll see how it plays out in Modern War or in Cold War multiplayer. We're not totally sure, but overall, I'm not really impressed with this weapon. Who knows? The exact opposite of that is the Red Torpedo. Good Lord, this thing is cool, and it's got really good attachments. You can use it out of the box without changing any attachments and be very successful. The details, like the rust on the bottom and sort of the worn-in look with the riveting and the steel plating like a Russian submarine, this is super, super, super cool. We'll give you sort of a 360 look around here. I love the two-tone submarine look, like the top and bottom of a submarine, the magazine with the Russian star on it, the tail fin that looks like a rudder that would steer the submachine gun on the rear of the stock. This is a super, super cool variant. There's a couple variants that do sort of the metal vibe. I think there's like a PPSH that does it. There might have been one in Modern Warfare that did this as well, 1 or 2. I didn't really like those, but something about this particular kilo or this Krig-6 actually works really, really well. We love the way this looks. Here's the way we scored it. 5 on the aesthetics and details. 2 on the color palette. It's scored a plain, just gray and red, but it looks cool as far as an aesthetics detail. So got 5 on that. Attachments, 5 out of 5. These are amazing attachments. You can run this out of the box. 3. I think on the projected camo synergy, this is a 3 because I think it actually could work really well with some camos. The cool factor is a 5. This thing is wicked cool. We gave it an 8 overall. Now we're going to move on to the TEC-9 Tropic Punch. This one could be cool. It feels a little stuck together, herky-jerky. The more I look at it, the more I love it. I absolutely love the color palette. If I could give a 10 out of 5 on the color palette, I would. The 3 is for the aesthetics and details. The 3 on aesthetics and details is just because there's really not a lot here other than a really cool color palette. And it also sort of feels jammed together. It doesn't have a lot of synergy from the receiver and the handle to the lower end of the receiver where the trigger and the handle and the magazine feed is. So kind of cool, and the magazine is sort of plain. Would love to see some details on the magazine. It is really cool though with the purple wire stock, purple trigger, purple magazine, that it stands out a little bit. So I sort of struggle with this one. I gave this one a 6. It would be really cool to run naked, no camo. camos. It could look cool with camos too, depending on how much or how little the camos actually cover up. So very, very cool, but a little herky-jerky looking as well. This one, I had to rate this one really, really high. I cannot stand shotguns. The Silent Roar Streetsweeper shotgun, oh my goodness. I hate shotguns, but I gotta set my bias aside. This thing is one of the sleekest, cleanest, sexiest looking, freshest looking weapons on the entire Battle Pass. In fact, one of the freshest looking variants we've had the entire year in Cold War. This thing looks amazing. I'm not going to run it most likely unless there's like a shotgun challenge or something going on. But if I had to choose to run one, this would be the one. Rider Groza. Now, carbon fiber probably wasn't around in the 80s. It might have been. I don't know. Someone can correct me on that. But this one just seems to work. The iridescent green absolutely looks amazing. It's like a clearish iridescent, like chromey sort of turquoise teal green. Love it, and it works so well with the carbon fiber. Now, the attachments are not great. We're going to give this a 5 out of 5 on both color palette and aesthetics, but 2 for attachments because these are garbage. You're going to have to replace the attachments, which will take away from the aesthetic look with the carbon fiber, so that sort of sucks. The cool factor is 5 for 5, and if, this is a big if, this is the only 5 out of 5, or one of the only 5 out of 5s for projected camo synergy, because if the camo only covers the metallic green, right, and it doesn't cover the carbon fiber, and you've got the carbon fiber with any camo you want to put on this bad boy, oh my goodness, this thing would look absolutely amazing. On this one, we are moving forward as quickly as we can with these, because we got 24 weapons to get through, or 23 weapons, I should say, or 20-something, 21, 20-something weapons, 20-something. This one could be cool. I like the royal aesthetics on it. Some of the details are cool, but there's just something about it that's sort of like, you know, I don't know. The blue and the gold really works. I love the blue and gold thing they've got on multiple of these weapons in this battle pass, but for me, this should impress, but I just don't know. There's just something about it. I do like sort of the velvet knight on the magazine receiver, where there's the gold and the blue. It looks like a velvety look or like a carpety look or whatever, that sort of royal, like throne vibe or whatever. That's kind of cool, but nothing really super awesome to write home about this. This one, the maple leaf. This Diamatti looks amazing. The twist on the barrel, the attachments are amazing, 5 out of 5. The color palette, the texture on the bronzish gold sort of maple syrup look is just so sexy. The brushed steel on the slide look amazing. The lower receiver with the texture. This thing is just absolutely sick. Now, it's a bit plain on the color palette, but the details like the red screw heads and the things like that. This thing is an amazing looking weapon. 5 for the aesthetics, 3 for the color palette, 3 for attachments, because there's a couple you might want to change out. 0 for camo synergy. 4 for camo synergy, because this thing would look really cool with camos most likely, and 5 for cool factor. This thing is a 9. It was just under a 10 because it's a little plain on the color palette, but we do like it, so that's a 9. Now, moving on to the Death Angel DMR-14. This one got really low scores in every single category except cool factor and overall. I actually gave it a 7 overall, believe it or not, even though we gave it a 1 in aesthetics, 2 in color palette. We give it a 4 in attachments, but a 0 in projected camo synergy. The attachments on this weapon are absolutely disgusting for the DMR-14. We love the Angel of Death with the pink around her eyes, and that's all you see, which is a really cool looking weapon, but it's also super plain. So like every time I looked at each category, aesthetics, color palette, all that, it's sort of like, oh man, low scores, but overall this thing looks absolutely sick. 1 splash of color, the tattoo Death Angel graffiti look, it looks amazing. Everything's blacked out, there's no like chrome or silver or anything. So overall, actually very high score. It's a 7 for me. Now moving on, here's my 15 seconds. It's a knife, very cool Damascus blade look, but other than that, come on guys, it's a knife. No judgment, just being honest. Now, one of our last 2 weapons. I love the way this black palette looks with the neon edging, but that's literally it. The animation looks really cool for your kill totals. Very cool weapon overall, but I'm just not a big fan of reactive camo stuff in realistic timeline games. In Black Ops 4, Black Ops 3, Infinite Warfare, that's fine, but in a boots on the ground realistic game like back in World War II, in Modern Warfare and Cold War, just not a fan, but this one sort of grows on you, man. I love the way that the different kill tiers work to light this thing up. So pretty cool. Our final weapon, this is the TEC-9 microchip. Let me just talk to you about this one real quick. The look and feel of this 1980s old school like computer building Tron, Retrowave, Synthwave, Arcade, old school computers, Macintosh getting off the ground, you know, Steve Jobs and those guys, Microsoft, all that. This is so cool. We love that theme. We love everything about sort of that idea and everything behind it. This thing harkens to all of that. This is such a cool looking TEC-9 weapon. The details on the Ember sighting point with the pink accoutrements on the black battery pack, the pink ring around the muzzle. The magazine looks absolutely stunning. We love the color palette. If we could give a 25 out of 10, we would on the color palette. The teal, the pink, the black, the white is literally all of our favorite colors designed in one, and the little sort of circuitry wiring things going on and on around the handle and the magazine. This thing, I cannot say enough about this. It is one of our 3 10s out of 10s. Love it, plain and simple. It could look cool with camo, so we only gave it a projected cool camo synergy of 3. And attachments 3. We would replace the red cell foregrip and the no stock. We would definitely attach some different weapon attachments there. But aesthetics, color palette, 5 out of 5. Cool factor, 5 out of 5 for sure. And an overall 10 out of 10. But overall, the Battle Pass is fine. I think the biggest draw for the Battle Pass is going to be the weapon variants, because overall, these weapon variants look really, really good. We really love the content. We cannot wait to grind more Battle Pass and unlock these. We've actually been playing a lot of Modern Warfare 19 multiplayer because we're getting ready for Vanguard, trying to get back in that mode with that sort of engine, that movement, that feel and stuff. Plus, we got some unfinished challenges, like we're unlocking the blue holo sight. We've got the blue dot on the reflexes, but not on the holographic sight, so we're grinding that, having fun, and we're working our way up the Battle Pass that way. As we unlock these, I would definitely test them out with camos and things like that to see how they look and do a quick review. But that is it for my time. Thank you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed a little bit more of a different look on the video. A little bit longer of a video as well, but it was really cool. This is something we love to do on our live stream. So make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can find your way back to the Club Fox Retrowave Lounge. And make sure you hit that like button if you enjoyed. And let me know of all the variants, which one's your favorite and which one's your least favorite. Hit those in the comment sections below. Guys, we appreciate it. Stay sexy, stay safe, and we'll see you guys on the next one.